Where was I? Ah, yes. Howdy. My name is Alex, but you can call me Pichu. I'm still not talking about what I originally intended. Not that it's a surprise, or as if there was a strict plan, just... Well, failed plans are going to be parts of the subject today. I just can't seem to make an uplifting video, huh? I mean, I'm about to discuss loneliness here. Should I start with a joke? Nope. I have self-esteem, I won't put myself as the answer to that. Although life did that a few times instead of me already. Whatever. It's been more than 6 months, almost 7 since I uploaded my first video here. Most of the time, I was alone, thanks to the situation with the world right now. I guess you've heard about it too. But how alone was I really? Before returning to the UK, I wasn't just alone. I was lonely. Lonely in a way that I didn't know before. Many realizations came at that time, and it was getting its toll on my mindset really heavily. Not in a relationship way of meaning, not during those years, but those times were affecting my future views. The ones I'm having today. Something was changing, and I knew that I needed fresh company, because friends were scattered all around the country, or even the continent. One of them went as far as the afterlife. That was part of my wake-up call, and I was in an urgent need of a different environment. I wanted more than anything to escape my hometown, because at that time I felt like the premise of a wasted life is slowly choking me. So I left. And I left behind some plans I had together with a friend, because it felt like we were losing our focus, and our friendship as well. Then I felt that those weren't really there in the first place. Those were like reminders of friendships I had in my early and mid-20s, the projects we brought to existence like the fire juggling team. Then I realized that even back then, the difference in views, the ideas about the future, the undeveloped communications were causing similar problems. In other words, people were talking shit without reason. And that was actually teaching us a lot about the world of the adults. We were still barely part of it. Maybe I could have demanded some stuff to be like this and like that and like this and that. But the way I'm wired, I was rather silently accepting the fact that I am actually alone in my struggles for a success that I would share. I'm rephrasing this one. Others wouldn't put in the work needed for achieving our common goals. That left me with more work, and while maybe I should have been demanding more from others, I was the one facing demands, regardless that others were responsible for slowing down our own projects. You can be smartest about it that it should have been obvious, and maybe you're right, but the stuff I'm talking about was really unnoticeable. Many people avoid it by being complete jerks with no empathy towards others, but I'm talking about my friends here, the closest ones at that time, and most of them wouldn't agree with me if I would point my fingers at them. I will tell you in a few minutes why would they be also right. I'm either a team player or I'm a lone wolf, but I'm no boss. I don't like to tell anyone how or what they should do. I believe in their freedom to make mistakes, be lazy or whatever. What I demand is to have the same rights to fuck things up. But before I go astray, if these interests didn't meet or couldn't be made to meet, then sooner or later I lost all my fucks to give. Every single time that happened, I felt incredibly alone, regardless who were around me. Those were the only times when I felt loneliness. The times when I became disappointed in somebody. One became the sign of the other. Friends, girlfriends, relatives, co-workers, didn't matter. At the base of that feeling, what my mind could narrow down was they didn't appreciate my friendship, my work, my time and my energy that I was giving to them. So every time when I felt like that, my self-value was hurt a bit more. Now, these didn't happen when I was just alone. I like being alone in some extent. That's actually a pretty fucking big understatement. I can have loads of fun with many single activities and I'm rarely ever bored, so I never really connected the being alone and the being lonely stuff. But I still misunderstood it. I thought that being lonely is a much stronger state of being alone, a more miserable one, so to say, so I thought that I was never lonely because I never felt that presence of sadness that I connected loneliness with. I hope this makes sense. I only recently realized that they barely ever overlapped. It became more clear over the years because as an adult I am alone more, so now when I feel lonely there's a good chance that I am alone to experience them at the same time. And ironically I'm able to separate them more easily because of that. So a thought-provoking observation crossed my mind, that those times whenever I felt lonely, I was simply expected to deal with it. To just get over it, to be strong, to not show, to swallow my sensitivity, my insecurity, my care about my loss. Because there was a loss somewhere every time. That wasn't only devaluating important feelings in myself, causing a lot of different emotional troubles I might add, but undermining the importance of such simple things as trust. The more and more disappointments occurred in my life, the more I was expecting them to occur, even from where I shouldn't have, so at certain times I was the one ruining the trust, because I wouldn't think that things would end any other way. So much so that in many cases I don't even know if I was right or not. Okay, the sad truth is that in more than 90% of the cases that I know the results of, I was right. But that's not the point I want to make. My point is that I would like it better if I was wrong more. Much more.
Hey, look at this guy. He's so full of himself.
Look, I know that I have problems with that 90-ish% of being right. And the problem is that when it's needed, I don't think that I am right. I can be convinced with the opposite, and years later find out that eventually it was just like I thought it was. And not just me, but everybody was misled. I just happened to be the one with the alarming feelings that nobody cared about. If I was confident enough about my intuitions, I could have saved a lot of troubles for a lot of my friends in the past. The way I see it, the unfortunate outcomes are side effects of people going through the same things I've experienced, getting disappointed all the time, and so they are choosing to be alone instead, not trusting anybody, not caring even, only within a limit where they can remain, or more like they are able to feel as if they were protected. Because the thing is that we're not protected. Having trust issues all the time is a loss. Being alone all the time is a loss. Devaluating ourselves all the time is a loss. Okay, so let's hide all these horrible traits from everyone, we decide. That's where most people think that someone who does that is an awful person, pretentious, narcissist, misguiding others, only caring about themselves and whatnot. I have bad news. It's subconscious. And all of us do this. It's a mental defense mechanism. Sometimes we blame others, other times we blame ourselves, and it's almost like a coin flip inside our minds that which experience goes where, but in the end those are trust issues nevertheless, just building up from different reasons. In some ways it is not a coin flip, because there were or were not situations, wise words, red lines, movie scenes, or anything in our past that our mind's decision is based on. But in other ways, it is a coin flip that we did or did not have said situations happen to us, and even then how strongly and in which direction did our mind react to them. It's a mixture of coincidence and predetermination, but it doesn't matter until it is in our subconscious. Well, let's raise self-awareness. Suddenly we can interpret our behavior, we can gain control over our feelings, and we can have our own influence over our experiences regarding our whole world, really. There, I just told you a way for the solution. Grabbing it is an act of will, though. I must warn you, in most cases it just means an easier way to accepting all the shit that happens around us, no matter what. But that can still be a very significant difference. For me it is. Because right now, I'm alone. In the last few years I've encountered some disappointments that could have been worrisome if I didn't have developed that numbness against the feeling. I'm not entirely glad that I have that. It means that I was wrong in a case that I'd rather be right with. I was wrong, regarding my own life at least, about being generous with trust, because I believe that it's worth to live a more naive life than always expecting a betrayal. And I haven't completely thrown away that principle, but I'm not even close to as strong beside it than I was. It wasn't really my decision to change my approach. It happened because of life. Every time I tried to achieve something together with someone else, eventually I had to accept that it was something that I worked for, and if I would get there, they would just stand next to me to say it was ours. Every single time. So I don't believe anymore. I don't believe that there would ever be somebody truly sharing anything with me. And I'm not saying that it couldn't happen. I saw these kinds of relationships many times. It's rare, but I still saw a lot of it. I won't say that it couldn't happen to me either. What I say is that after all I've been through emotionally, I'd have a very hard time to believe if that would be happening. And that would be such an unfair thing from me towards them, in case they would be an exception. Friends, girlfriends, relatives, co-workers? Doesn't matter. Where are the real differences? After all, they are all people. I know my answer though, but I keep that to myself. Then why is this topic that I am talking about? The drama. Just kidding. Some of these days, I'll be making a video about some cheerful stuff. Actually, this topic surfaced a few times nowadays in my life. It's definitely because I'm working more on my channel now that I'm back in Hungary. A friend of mine has given me a hard time because my giveaway video doesn't bring in the wished results. We're kind of the opposites in everything. I know that sudden popularity is a wish. He's more like demanding and pointing fingers, saying that it's because of the quality of people I know on my social media. That did lead to a conversation about how in our late teenager years amongst our friends we even traveled to another village to watch someone practicing freestyle rapping, or we skipped school to check out the breakdancer pass, or even just the background dancer girls' performances, or the graffiti artists we knew, and things like that. I'd say those were group activities. Today, if I tell someone that I was working for weeks on a video, please give a like and subscribe. They don't even have to watch it, just pretend. Only a handful of them does it. And when they do and they tell me about it, I ask them to please comment it under the video. They continue in Messenger like I didn't say anything. When I link it to people who are into psychology stuff, and I even make my channel in their native language, they still don't care enough to watch it. When I work extra days on the subtitles so my homies could understand it as well, and I realized that I kinda insult their reading speed. And I could go on with the small things. It could be a letdown. And I know that many stopped there because they were expecting something else. Something easy. The truth is that if I will achieve success, it will not happen through the people I know. It can only happen through strangers. Lots of strangers. Thousands of strangers. So guilt-tripping the ones I know wouldn't make sense even if I would want to do something like that. Because these aren't group activities anymore. They are alone over their screens. We are alone over our screens. I am at peace with all this. I recognize their effort, or the lack of it. I note and remember the exceptions. But the world is different. Me and my friends are grown up. Life has hardened in several ways, and we have hardened ourselves with it. Other people did the same. Should I blame them for it? No, and I don't expect anything from them. Because it's no news that essentially I am alone.